Okay, in this assignment we're going to be using star logo to simulate the process of natural selection. Now a couple things I want you to look at. If you take a look at the star logo workbox, you're going to notice the individual different messages that allow this program to work. Okay, I'm just dragging it across. We're going to be discussing how star logo works a little bit later on. Alright, but for now we're going to be working in Spaceland. And what I would like you to notice is what happens when we hit the setup button. In the setup button, you actually create an environment that has a terrain that has different colors, flowers that are randomly assigned colors, and then bears which are going around and eating the flowers. Okay, if you take a look over the guy's shoulder, this is what it looks like. Alright, and when you actually go from the aerial view and you kind of zoom out, one of the things you can see, alright, you can zoom out using these buttons over here, the little ones in the lower right hand corner. Alright, when you hit the forever button, the bears start walking around and start eating flowers. One of the things you notice, I want you to be very careful and I want you to observe and report what you see. How do the bears actually move? Do the bears move randomly, or is there something about the way they move that is non-random? If you zoom in a little closer, you can kind of keep a little bit better eye and just watch how the bears actually react when they come into a patch of flowers. The other thing I want you to notice is how the flowers reproduce. Okay, you'll notice that the flowers actually are producing new flowers. Alright, so that's something you need to be paying very, very, very close attention to. Okay, and finally what I'm going to ask you guys to do is pay attention to what's actually happening along results. Okay, what happens as the guys go flying around. What I'd like you to do to make this work is, you notice that this slider, you can change the speed at which the bears are moving around. There's 1 unit per second, 2, 5, and then the maximum. Watch what happens as the bears move around. Alright, now in this case you're going to notice something very specific is happening, and if you let it play out over a long enough period of time, you'll begin to notice some certain things happening. Okay? Alright, so this is where our observations are going to be. If you want to stop the thing, you hit setup. Whoops, sorry, you hit the pause button, which is this little cube. Hit setup, and it resets the whole process, and you run it again. Alright, so you get a whole series of different results. I want you to notice you may not exactly get the same exact results all over and over again. Okay? Now, that's part 1 of the assignment. Part 1, you're going to be paying attention to what happens, what does it look like under the initial setup, what happens after you allow it to run for a certain amount of time. When you run the simulation, what happens?